So I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you about three arguments that I had in one day, and that is so unlike me. I don't know what I don't know what I was doing. I was on my meal period or something. I don't know. It was that's probably going to be it's probably going to be something I've said just said a meal period. I'm probably going to get grief for and thinking years to come thinking, oh shit, you can't say that. Cancel culture. Anyway, yes, I was on my meal period. I don't know. Midlife crisis, I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm going to tell you all about it. It's 793. It's Thursday, April 28th, 2022. So I pride myself on the fact that I don't really fall out with people. I never fall out with people. I always like to see their side of it. I always believe there's two sides to every argument. Oh, don't get me wrong, I fall out with my wife all the time. But apart from that, there's two sides to every argument. And so, yeah, I always, what did somebody say to me the other day? Anyway, so I can't remember what it was. It was somebody was having two arguments and there was two people arguing, and there was clearly one person in the wrong, but I had empathy for that person because I questioned, I'm like, okay, what is that person going through to act like that? It's something externally. It's not the actual argument that's a problem. It's something externally in that person's life. So I just felt sorry for him. I had empathy for him. Anyway, so the three arguments I had, it was at races. We was going to the races with the kids and my wife, and it was at Doncaster races. We're staying at the Hilton Hotel. Beautiful, by the way, overlooks the racecourse, next to the racecourse. And normally what you can do, you go downstairs and you just go across. You go across from the hill and out the back door, and you just go across the racecourse, right? So we did that. It was 20 minutes to go to the first race. I'm not a big gambler anymore in terms of horse racing. I want to get back into it because I used to love it. So it wasn't even the fact that it was 20 minutes from the first race. And so the first argument was the security guard. All of a sudden, there's a security guard on this gate where you opened up and go through. Last time, the security guard, lovely, she opened it up for us. There you go, have a nice day. And this one guy, it was a young guy, real cocky. So I took offense to that. And he said, where are you going? Races, mate? And so you're not coming from here. I was like, why? And he goes, not allowed. And I said, well, we always come through here. Anyway, and he was going backwards and forwards like this. And he goes, it was being, don't get me wrong, he was being really cocky, very, very cocky to me and very, very clever. And Claire was like, Dean, why are you rising to it? Why are you bothered? I'm like, I have no idea, Claire. Anyway, so couldn't go through. And I was like, this is what a dickhead mood I was in. I genuinely looked him up and down and thought, I can take him. No, I'm not even a fighter. I can take him. What? Why? No, you couldn't. What are you on about, you idiot? And then so I got back into the hotel, and I said, "Excuse me," to the receptionist, and I said, "Excuse me, the security guard what let us in where we normally go through." She goes, "Not allowed through there." And I was like, "Oh my god, what is up with people today?" I was like, "Yeah, but we always do. We stay here a lot and we go through." She goes, "When?" I was like, "Last meeting we stayed here and we always went through." And she goes, "Well, not allowed down." I said, can I guess that's why? And I was like, Dean, does it matter? Not allowed in. And she goes, COVID. So I was like, don't get me started about COVID. Sorry, why can't I go that way just because of COVID? What's the reason? She goes, COVID. I was like, yeah, but why? Why can't, there's not a one-way system. It's nothing. It's not, why is that entrance now not allowed because of COVID? There's no COVID anymore. Well, there is COVID, but we're all acting the same. And I could understand if it was lockdown or something, it was 2 meters apart. And by the way, there's nobody going through that way. Nobody going through that way. It's just a shortcut. And she goes, not allowed. And I was like, finding myself wanting to argue with this person. And then so all right, I thought, okay, why the heck have I let people externally affect my mood? Because then I was thinking, I can't believe it. But I was mad at myself because I didn't argue with them as such. But I was off back to, so they was off with me. And so I was a little bit needly back. You know, when you're a little bit needly back to somebody, and I was mad at myself because I like to think I'm better than that. I like to think I don't engage in that sort of behavior. I do. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get petty. I can get petty, but very, very rarely in few and far between. And when I get petty, then I don't do 2, let alone 3 times being petty. And I was being petty. I was being petty back to him. And I was thinking, all right. And so on the what's the race cost, Claire was like, why do you want to get involved? Why? I was like, I don't know, Claire. I have no idea what came over me. And like I said, I want a knob. I want an asshole or anything like that. But I know I didn't affect those people in a positive manner. And that's what I always want to do. I always want to leave people more in a happier mood, I suppose, than I found them. And I definitely didn't do it on that occasion. And I thought about it. Okay, what happened? And I was like, well, there was three workmen sat there, and I could see them eyeing up Claire, and then they looked at me, and then they still eyed up Claire, and I was like, maybe that was it. And I'm like, well, I ain't bothered. I don't even care. Or is it my ego because they looked at me and thought, well, I'm bothered if he sees me looking at. I was like, maybe, but I doubt it. So I don't know. I don't know what the reason was. And then the third argument was a bookmaker. So Zach, my oldest, won a race. It won like £8.50 or something on a horse, and we got paid out. And then so we're going away, and straight away Claire said to me, "Oh, Dean, they paid you out in an £1 coin." And she says, "You want to go back?" I said, "I'm going back for £1, Claire." And Zach was like, "Please, Dad, please, I want my money." And I was like, "Buddy, I'll give you one of my pounds." No, don't give me one of your pounds. I said, "Don't worry, mate, it's fine. I'll give you one of my pounds." No, and he said, "I want my own money." I thought, oh, for God's sake, Dean, do the right thing, go back. And so I went back, tail between my legs to the bookmaker, and I said, "Hey, mate, I'm really sorry to have to do this, but it's my kids. I tried to give my kid pound out my own pocket, but we wouldn't have it. You give me no £1." He goes, "I didn't give you that." I was like, "Oh, please no. I said, "Mate, I'm not going to argue about £1. You definitely give me it." "No, we don't take pounds. We don't take all pounds." "It wouldn't have been me, mate." "How do you know it was me?" I said, "Because it's the only money he's got. He's got no other money." We saw it straight away. We come back straight away. "Nah, it wouldn't have been me." "I tell you what, I'll give you £1, but it wasn't me." I was like, "Buddy, it's £1. It's not the end of the world." And he goes, and he started shouting at me in front of the whole area. "I'm giving you a high." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're giving me it, but you're saying it wasn't you, and you're shouting at me in front of my kid." I was like, "Oh, what is it with idiots today?" And all three occasions, all them three people, the security guard, the receptionist, was rude, very, very rude. First of all, to me, and so I had every right to be a dick back to them, but I want you, and I want me, and I want everybody listening to this to hold ourselves to a higher level, a higher standard. Because just because somebody else is a dick, why would you let that influence your behavior? You're letting them influence you. So they've got a control over you and your mindset. And so that's a weak person in my mind. And we're all weak people at times, but ultimately, most of the time, we want to make sure that other people don't control us. They don't change how we look at ourselves. They don't change how we speak, how we act, how we think. And we are still us, no matter what happens externally. But on that day, I was just like blown away. I was just like, oh my God, 3 people. But then why did I react to all 3 people? And I found myself, I didn't shout at the bookmaker working away, but I was very, very clever. I was like, "Mate, look at yourself. You're a grown man. How old are you? You're in your 60s, and you're shouting at a dad and his kid in front of all these people about £1 that you gave me." And so the problem is, sometimes I can be very, very good with my words, and I can proper 10, and I proper scolded him a very, very clever way. And I was like, so I didn't rise in terms of madness, argumentative, but I put him in his place by being calm. But then I thought, do you know what? I probably embarrassed him. And by the way, you can say that he was an ass. And so you're probably saying that I probably can say that, yes, I had the right to do that. But again, I want to hold myself to a really high standard. And I negatively impact that guy's day. Why? What I could have done. We can always do more. Even if you're in the right, I'm 100% in the right with that argument. But what I could have done differently is, and if it had said, "Well, it wasn't me, mate," right? Fair enough, no problem. It's £1. Don't worry about it. And then if he'd give me and said, "There you go, I'll give you it," it definitely wasn't me. I goes, "Listen, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing that. I know that you didn't have to, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day," and walk off. Right. But not only then did it have ruined it. Well, maybe it wouldn't have impacted his day, but it definitely would have been a positive interaction. And so our mood, our mindset at the end of the day is a collective of all the interactions that we've had during the daytime. And whether subconsciously or consciously, he would have been worse off for the interaction with me. And I was worse off for the interaction with him because I didn't want to go anywhere near his bookmaker stand ever again. So we stay clear. And so that impacted my day negatively. It'll have impacted his day negatively because well, for starters, anybody who'd seen him shouting at me would have not had a bet with him, or very few people. It definitely impacted some people who would not have had a bet with him. The security guard, he was just doing his job. He was just doing his job, saying, "No, sorry, mate, you're not allowed in." And yes, he was a typical bouncer. Sorry for all the bouncers listening, but I'm sure you can. I'm sure if you're not like that, then you know other people like that who the power's gone to their heads and they love to. They're in the Hilton and they're lording it over somebody else, kind of thing. And so he was only doing his job. He was just doing his job. All right, I could have just said, even though he was a dick, I could have, and being disrespectful to me and talking down to me and stuff. All right, mate, no problem. You have a grand day, buddy. Thank you very much for explaining. That's it. I didn't need to go to that level. And with a woman in the receptionist who said to me, it's because of COVID. For one, I didn't even need to go and complain. I did not complain, but I was trying to get through that way. So I could have just accepted it and not even gone to that and had that interaction at all. Because then when I saw her the next day, I felt awkward. I'm sure she'd have felt awkward as well, because I wasn't, all I was doing is questioning him. Why? Well, sorry, I don't understand why COVID. Yeah, but what part of COVID? I just, honestly, I'm just genuinely trying to learn from it. I've been a dick. And she goes, it's because of COVID. I said, yeah, but how come I was allowed last time and not this time? Well, you wasn't. Well, I definitely was. No, you wouldn't have been. Well, I was allowed. I was there. I remember it. You weren't there. I was there. I remember it. I was allowed through. And it just went on like this. And I was like, and I could have just walked away. And so what I want you to do is, well, it's really for me to document it, because when you learn a lesson, I think it's good to document it, because then it goes in more. It's like when you learn something, write it down, your tendencies are to learn, to remember it more. And so for me, my takeaways, I don't want other people, however they treat me, to impact me, to control me, to influence my behavior. And on that day, I just felt really mad and sad about how I reacted, because I don't want to react like that. I don't want to be that type of person. And so I react in a bad way. So I just want to share that with you guys, because I don't want everybody to think that I have, because I was talking to one of the school dads and a mate, and they were, it almost sounded like, sorry for you've got everything sorted out, you've got everything you want. And I'm like, no, nobody has everything sorted out. We're all human. We all fuck up. And the problem is that you see every fuck up that you make. You don't see every fuck up that I make. And so just so everybody knows out there that I make just as many fuck ups as you, or even more fuck ups than you. And I don't have my shit together just like everybody else. And so it's good to get that, to understand and to show you guys that although I'm very, very positive and stuff, and I love doing this podcast, that I'm still a dick. I can still be an absolute ass. I can still get into situations where I don't need to get into. I still don't rise above things where I know what to do, but I don't do it. And so we're all the same. We're all living this life, and we're all just trying to navigate it as best as possible. And we're just, as long as we learn every day, then that's awesome. I've got a podcast episode coming up on episode 799, and it's basically saying that you want to be embarrassed by your previous self, because we're all learning, and we're all hopefully bettering ourselves. So I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday, and this time next year I'm going to be a lot better. I hope that I'm going to be embarrassed by my previous behavior. I look on Facebook and some of the posts I put when I was, 21 or 22, I'm thinking, oh my God, what was you thinking? You immature, late developer, you. And so we want to be embarrassed by our behaviors today when we look back in the future, because that's where we're improving. Anyway, so I wanted to share my mess ups with you. I thought it'd be a good podcast episode. All right, love you. Appreciate you. I'm out of here.